welcome to the Get At Gaming podcast. I am Alex,
I'm Ben.
and we are the Get At Gaming podcast. You can find us on podcast services bi-weekly. We are on like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, a bunch of different places. You can find us there. We are there. You can also find us on YouTube. Those releases on Fridays. And you can see our beautiful faces if you want to. If you don't want to, we lied. We're ugly. So it's okay. It doesn't hurt our feelings. But today we're here about a very special thing near and dear to my heart. You know, we did on a whim. I was like, we gotta watch a movie like a few weeks ago, you know, a couple months ago actually. I was
Yeah,
like,
it's been a bit.
yeah, I was like, hey, we gotta watch this movie. It's amazing. I really like it. Um, and I don't know if you'll like it, but too bad you made me watch China O'Brien 1 and 2. So we watched
Yes, I did.
we watched the movie. Still amazing. I took a bunch of notes, I remember. I don't even know where that notebook is anymore. That's the notebook that I use for my game reviews too. So hopefully I find it soon. But yeah, we talked about Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, and talking about like how like, oh man, this show is great, the movie's great, but you can't find the show anywhere. The show's not available. When can you watch a show? I don't know. It's a copyright nightmare. There's so many things about it. Well, a couple weeks ago, last week actually, I would say, if you're listening to this, um, Hulu randomly just like tweeted and posted YouTube videos saying like, "Hey, we have Nirvana the band, the show, the movie." And we're like, "Okay, that's cool." Also, we have Nirvana the band, the show. Oh, okay. And we have season 2. And that's amazing because season 2 has never been released here. And so it's very special for the show to get out of Canada and be released somewhere. Um, so what we are talking about today is streamable at this time on Hulu. I'm assuming they're probably going to keep it forever because this is probably going to be a cash cow. But also, um, they have other like Canadian shows on there, like Letterkenny and stuff like that. So like I'm sure like this will fit right in with Hulu's, I don't know, catalog of things. So we watched Nirvana the band, the show. I have watched. We're gonna talk about season 1 today, even though there are 2 seasons. I have watched a season and a half, I would say. So like I'm halfway through season 2, but again, we're just talking about season 1. But I've seen the show plenty of times. There's even things with this version that are different than with other versions I've ever seen. So there's interesting stuff here. We'll talk about them as best as we can. This show is a comedy. There are jokes that you know, I guess it's not saying that they don't age well, because that's not the
Right,
excuse, because this is 2017. It's well
right.
past that. I think the way that they approach things with such earnest and just being so naive about things, like they're not malicious in any way, like even with like their comments or something like that. So there are jokes in the show that might not be suitable for everyone. So just be aware if you're ever going to try to watch a show. But we're going to talk full spoilers about this show here in just a little bit, at least season 1. But yeah, so this season was it 8 episodes long? Both seasons are 8 episodes long. And I guess we'll just talk about this really quick. Just in case you don't know, because we talked about it in our movie review, which you can take a look as well on our YouTube or in our Spotify feed. You can find us there. because we go about the history of this again as well. But we'll do like the short Cliff Notes version of this. Nirvana the band, the show, was originally a web series in like 2007, 2008. Loosely inspired by Clark and Michael, which is a Clark Duke, Michael Cera thing. It was a web series for CBS about like those two trying to get like a pilot on CBS. And so Matt Johnson, Jay McCarroll kind of did a similar type of show where it was those two playing fictionalized versions of themselves, trying to get their band, Nirvana the band, which back then it had the one N at the end. So like it spelled as Nirvana originally, until an episode where they get a cease and desist. So and then they put that in the episode. So like yeah, Nirvana the band was a thing. In 2007, 2008, it had like roughly, I want to say like 8 episodes or so even then, and they varied in length. And then kind of just, you know, disappeared. They did like other movies and stuff like in during that time. I want to say Matt Johnson did The Dirties, he did Operation Avalanche. He was doing stuff at that time. And then they got approached by Viceland, I believe, and then that's how the show came about in 2017. So the show season 1 and 2, I'm pretty sure were made pretty close to each other because I think it's just 2017, 2018. But yeah, the show is just about two dorks trying to get their band a show at a place called the Rivoli, which seems to just be like a bar, restaurant combo thing. But then also famous people do play there occasionally, like on the inside. So they are a band in quotes, but like they don't really play music. If anything, most things are just, you know, vamping and just coming up with songs or coming up with ideas and schemes of how to get a show without even just being a band. So yeah, Nirvana the band, they're just called Nirvana the band, and to their surprise, because I mean, I guess in this version they don't know that Nirvana exists, I guess still. But yeah, so so this is the show. I do want to start here with you, Benz. This is your first time watching it. I want to, before we get into like full spoilers and everything, what were your initial thoughts, and how does it feel to have context on a lot of the jokes and stupid things that I say for the past few years?
So here's the crazy thing is like I went into the movie and only watched like one clip from Alex that he sent me. So and I was like, oh, this is a pretty good movie. So after we got that and we found out about Hulu, he's like, hey, let's do it on the show. I was like, even better, because then I get more context. I laughed so hard during like half these things. Um, and we'll get into like which ones I really liked, which ones I was like, it's okay. Um, but it was still like a consistent thing. I think this is like, what's the word I used earlier? I used sophisticated comedy
Yeah.
because they mix like their schemes and stuff they're doing from their apartment to being in like live situations with real people that are unknown that they're being recorded, unknown that they are like part of a show. That's where it kind of gets like funny. It gives me like, you know, like Jackass feels. Kind of like I said Tim and Eric, awesome show a couple times, but I feel like this is funnier without the cringe.
Yeah.
I know people are gonna hate me for saying that.
No, I'm happy you said that.
Yeah, this doesn't have as much of the cringe as what Tim and Eric does. I think this is great. I think it's like masterpiece comedy. And I like some weird stuff. So I like obviously Tim and Eric, but one of the shows I think I've watched like probably like 5, 6 times is Your Pretty Faces Going to Hell. And very dark, very like out there comedy. This is great. I think anyone that was kind of interested in this, like, oh, I want to kind of watch, I would suggest this first. Now that you have access to the show, watch the show first, then watch the movie. I plan to watch the movie again because I feel like then I can get a better. Those jokes are going to hit differently me watching it for a third time after watching the show.
Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, because there's a lot of things even with the movie. Like, I mean, we talked about it before, but like, there's a lot of references in like both the shows and the movies. With like music. There's actually showing clips of movies, clips of video games, music from video games, sound effects from video games. Like the movie used like a lot of Back to the Future. It used Chrono Trigger at the opening and ending. Um, yeah, it did some other things, but like yeah, like overall there was a lot of um reused like real assets.
Yeah,
And the way that they work around this is that it's fair use. So if you have a really good lawyer, is what they've said, and then also just like wrap it around like the plots. So like this is needed to tell the story. Like this copy of Jurassic Park is needed to tell the story of the show or something. Um,
yeah,
yeah,
that episode was quite unique.
yeah,
Um, we'll get into it once we get into these episodes.
yeah.
There's so many things that are like, that's not that's not good. Especially that episode.
Hmm.
But I think again, I think these two here have such a good comic. It's like it's not obviously it's scripted, but their delivery seems natural.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Um,
being friends forever, I guess, really helps this out.
yeah, it's kind of like when we had Jay and Rob on from the Nintendo Quest and 64.
Yeah.
Like it was difficult because it was hard to interview them because Alex and I have known each other for a long time. These two have known each other since childhood.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt. You could feel like it's when they were upset with each other, it felt like friends that have been friends forever. Um,
Hmm.
so I loved it. Um, yeah. And as we get into the episodes, there's some that I'll probably just start laughing because it was
Yeah.
really funny.
Yeah, definitely. Well, this has been your warning. We're going to go full spoilers from here on out. We're gonna go through the episodes. Since there are only so many, there aren't many episodes. Honestly, we're probably just gonna go through the episodes one by one and just talk about our favorite moments about them, and just about like basic plots and all of that. So here we go. The first episode, The Banner, it originally released February of 2017. There is a different cut of it on my Blu-ray for Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. It came with the first episode, The Banner, on it, but it's a little shorter. And so people are wondering, and just speculation, like maybe it's a little shorter because like this is what they wanted versus like runtime, what runtime has to be for like Viceland or TV. um and so personally I like the Hulu version, the Amazon version that I've watched before, a lot better than the one that's on the Blu-ray, just because I feel the timing's a lot better. Like yeah, they trimmed it a bit in this one, but in the one that I have physically, but this is just the one that I know. um
Yeah.
Going forward, I do want to say, I mean, we'll talk about it in episode 2, but overall, nothing's really been censored compared to the original release that like I have, like from Hulu or from Amazon Prime, like when I bought it on Amazon for the first season. Um yeah, there's one thing in episode 2, but otherwise, um yeah, everything's pretty much the same. Um so um so this first episode, yeah, the banner is that the gang, they're trying to, this sets them up. They're trying to get a show at the Rivoli. This is the first time like they really just talk about that kind of stuff. And They call to the Rivoli. It's like I think there's a thing where they're like, how we get a show at the Rivoli? It's like play music or be a good band. He's like, no. Like it's not it. um but they call the Rivoli and they're like, hey, we want to show, okay, what's your band, Nirvana the band. Well, I don't know, your band doesn't exist. Like, we don't know who you are. Like, we need band evidence of you existing. And so they're like, all right, we'll get you band evidence. And so they go to Sears, which Sears doesn't exist anymore. Um and they go and get their picture taken. Jay's trying to look like a punk rocker because they're at the library, and they're looking at like the famous rock and roll book, which I feel like I've seen a bunch of times, like in a library or in a bookstore. um like that's just like a book that you just see a lot growing up. And they like talk to some random guy about like, oh, why, um what's special around here, what do all these people have in common? And Matt takes away like, oh, they're all smoking cigarettes. And then Jay's like, no, they have tight leather pants. And so they go to Sears, get the pictures. Jay has leather pants on, like really really tight leather pants, gets changed like at the in the back of Sears, like where
Yeah,
anyone could
he's just
just
like
see
right
him.
there. Just yeah.
Yeah. And Matt has like 5 cigarettes in his mouth, just like unlit, but just in his mouth and just posing with his hat and everything. Um, they get a picture. They decide to deliver it to the Rivoli. They just give it to some random person. They call back. It's like, no, we didn't get your package. What? You didn't get it? Um, but oh yeah, this is the part where even they just give the picture to a random person and then they find it on the ground, which seems very not scripted, because just they gave it to someone random person and like, what's this? And they threw it on the ground. And they like play the sad music. It's like, oh no, they threw our picture. Oh no, what are we gonna do? We'll get a banner. And so they get a huge banner. And so they unfold the banner on top of a building across from the Rivoli. And lo and behold, uh Jay's pants ripped, and you can just see his dick just straight up out of there. This is the first thing that people were joking around online. They're like, oh, is are we gonna see Jay's dick in this version on Hulu? Like, are we gonna see, like, is anything gonna be censored? um and apparently not with this. So like, you see it, like, um
Oh yeah, it's it's right there.
yeah, yeah. And so they realize, oh no, like, it's like, my penis is out or something like that. They say it like that. But if you notice beforehand when they're holding the pictures, Matt's always holding it and covering Jay. So like, the picture was always like that. It's just that until they actually put it on the banner, you didn't notice it. Um, so they grab some like varnish, and they put on like these like paper mache heads of themselves as like caricatures. And there's like, oh, we're trying to clean up some graffiti. Someone graffitied on the top of your building. And so they like varnish it or whatever, and they accidentally like make an arrow pointing at Jay. Um so Jay ends up just giving like Matt some cigarettes, and then when he like lights the cigarette, the paint gets caught on fire, and so everything gets on fire. And yeah, they kind of just run away. The I want to say that the fire truck like comes in at that time as well, but that was just coincidence, because like, the
Yeah.
CG, like the fire and everything, like that's all CG. I don't know how much the banner was CG. Like, I don't know, like, if there was actually nudity on it or anything, for shock and awe or not. But yeah, I want to say that's mostly just that first episode, and then from here on out, the episodes kind of um do parodies of other things. But this first episode is very much this is Nirvana the band, the show, this is the web series. Um, here's like the characters and basic plot, what they do, what they want, and the things that they grabbed at the library earlier are going to have an effect, either especially at the end of the season, but just in general, like in the show. So for a first episode, what do you think for this episode?
Um, so this the first thing I laughed at was when they were sitting there, Jay's playing the piano, and he's like, you know what? And Jay's like, they don't even know us, and and Matt goes, yeah, because we're white. Uh, that line came out of nowhere. It was pretty good. I think it's and these episodes are just enough time. They're like 20 to 25 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
If you have no commercials in Hulu, which I don't, it's just the perfect amount of funny to like get there. Of course, he talked about the varnish, and he's like, "Oh no, you're like pointing to it now." But they have people on the street taking pictures
Mm-hmm.
of this banner. These were not actors or actresses; these were real people,
Yeah.
and they were laughing, and they were like, "Oh my god!" And Matt kept going, "That's your penis,"
Yeah.
like, "Oh, look at that, there it is," and like Jay's like freaking out, and like
Yeah.
Matt's like, "Oh, there it is." He goes,
I
"Why's your
told
penis
you
out?"
not to wear the leather pants. You did
Yeah,
the leather pants. And then you just see Jay just like zoom in shots of like, like it's
yeah.
so comedy gold. Like it's very um I want to say Three Stooges, but like it's very physical comedy for a lot of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, they do a lot of that physical comedy, but, like, it was just like I was like, "If this is the way that this season starts, I am fully invested at this point."
Mm-hmm.
Um, which before we go into other episodes, I watched these pretty quickly. I watched them from Friday through Saturday, and then on Sunday, I rewatched it. So in that time frame of just a couple of days, I was able to watch it twice. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I knew I was gonna like that. And there were some episodes I didn't laugh as much, or I was like,
Yeah.
let's just get through this. But like this one was definitely the best starter to the series.
Yeah, and I will say really quick for people, I should have said it at the top of the show, but um I don't know how much of a problem you had, but did your Hulu try to autoplay and skip the show?
Yeah. So
Because I had to turn
um
off autoplay so it didn't, because there's like 2 or 3
yeah.
minutes when the credits play. So
Yeah. So you have to turn that off to watch it full through the credits. I had to turn that off because when I rewatched it, I'm like, I had it turned off because I caught it in one of the later episodes.
mhm,
And I was like, oh, I missed this whole part after the credits.
yeah.
Um, you know, and a lot of shows did that.
Mhm,
And so, like, not to kind of bring up your pretty face is going to hell, but that was one where after where the credits were running, there was something else that was playing
mhm.
with it of like, oh, there's this going on. So yeah, I would highly recommend you turn off autoplay because you will miss that little. And I think those are some of the most entertaining things as well.
That and like they lead to the next episode generally. So like
Yeah,
it's a good like foreshadow or just a natural segue to the next episode. Um so yeah. Cool. So yeah, the next episode is the booking, where they're trying to um get obviously a show at the Rivoli and everything, and they want it to say in Now magazine that that Nirvana the band's playing at the Rivoli. And so what they do is that they pretend to be like essentially like a Verizon or something like that. So like Jay pretends to be someone, go into Now magazine and pretends to like check the phone lines and all this, and the people are just none the wiser, like okay, whatever. And so they they're like trying to, I forget which one was first. It was like call from Now magazine to No, Call from the Rivoli to Now Magazine. Yeah, that's what it was. So Call from the Rivoli to Now Magazine, and so they steal the phone at the Rivoli. Jay has to call and say like, "Hey, there's been a change. Instead of blah 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 playing at the Rivoli tonight, it's Nirvana the band." And so um they wait and stake out the Now magazines, and it says like Nirvana or something instead. um he's like, I said Nirvana the band, and then he said Nirvana. I was like, yeah. um but yeah, this episode in particular is very good, but like there's a lot of back and forth between like talking to Now Magazine versus talking to Rivoli, and then talking to Rivoli as Now Magazine, breaking a phone. um there's also, this is the first one that does a lot of parody stuff. So this is the one that starts with the opening credits, is Growing Pains with pictures of Matt and Jay.
Yeah, that's
um
hilarious.
and then since they have to like do disguises and stuff, um I I think, yeah, this is where Matt was Mr. Thin, which is just this big guy. He has more of a backstory, but you watch the show.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk much about that. It's hilarious. Actually, no, I am going to talk about that briefly. So, there's this joke that they censor on Viceland. And so for Mr. Thin, because there's just like a whole thing, watch the show. I don't want to get hurt here. But you in the show, he says something controversial or whatever, and on the versions that I have in the show, that on Viceland or whatever, it's bleeped out that what Matt says as Mr. Thin, and it says like censored by Viceland over his mouth. And yeah, and it ends with like the part where he's like, "Oh, thou send the liberal plane crashing" or whatever. And
Yeah, that was on the Hulu one, it was not.
on the Hulu one, they did something crazy which no one would have thought of, which you heard the whole thing, but it still said censored by Viceland, which is weird because
Yeah,
there is another one that exists somewhere where it's just uncensored completely and you see his face. So like it's an interesting thing to have the original audio but then don't censor it. I almost feel like making it censored even with like a bleep makes the joke funnier and stand more, because the actual joke itself is just like whatever. But him not knowing what he's saying and him explaining it more made the joke funnier in my opinion. So yeah, that
yeah.
is the one like censorship thing that happened, is that it actually got uncensored in a way.
I think one of my favorite parts in this one as well is when they're distracting the people at the Rivian. Um, so Matt is wearing this bunch of clothes, big guy. He goes, "I'm gonna have a light lunch here, right?" And he just keeps ordering stuff as Jay's trying to steal the phone to
Yeah,
call Now Magazine. And he's calling Now Magazine, and Jay keeps ordering, or Matt keeps ordering. And the guy that's there, the waiter, goes, "Here's the thing. This is a lot of food.
yeah,
Are you good? Are you good for this? Because you said you wanted light." And that's where I started laughing. I was like, yeah, that's what's funny is he said, "I want a light lunch." And he
yeah,
keeps adding things on there. And like once they get the call done and stuff, they just take off running.
yeah,
Um, I think this kind of sets up for the show of like it's got scripted moments that are definitely scripted, but then there's a lot of parts that are like out in the world and it's like people don't know. So I think that's what that was hilarious because he kept telling the guy finally got fed up, was like, "Look, man, you
yeah.
know." But yeah, I think that's like one of my favorite parts in that one.
Yeah. And then how Matt just keeps saying like, "Hey, daddy-o." Like that's just like what is Mr. Thin says. But like yeah, there's just a bunch of disguises and stuff like that, but then like there's different music that plays. Like at the beginning, so after the growing pain stuff plays and it like cuts to the house, Family Matters plays. Like the music from Family Matters plays. And
Yeah,
then when Jay like comes out, I want to say with like the motorcycle or something, I think Full House music plays. probably because to signify like Uncle Jesse or something like that. There's some laugh track stuff occasionally. Um, there's when they're waiting for Now Magazine outside when it says Nirvana. Um, it's like you're incredible. You're Kramer. It's like, oh, I thought you were gonna say you're Kramer or something like that. And it's like, who was that one? It's like it's the one guy who came through the door, and he opens the door like, Jerry, I need a pickle. Um, like there's just a bunch of just random, just the conversation just keeps going, and they just keep
Yeah.
filming stuff, and it's just a matter of is it good or not? Because I'm sure that and they've said it before. There's probably a bunch of B-roll for all of these episodes
Oh
that
yeah.
like is awful, but they just find like the good stuff in it. So like there could have been, a rant about like a different show or something like that, or a rant about a different part of Seinfeld. Um, but this one just worked, and it had really just quick wit and great comedy. And then like this is like the Seinfeld music plays and all of that. So um but there, I think this is the episode where they're like talking about like they like try to go to Now Magazine or try to go to the Rivoli to talk to him or something, and Jay's just like, I mixed it up, I messed up the phone, and he's like holding it, and there's just like bystanders standing, and there's like, is this comedy, man? Like they don't even know, like this is, they're just
Yeah.
like what is happening? And like the Rivoli guy's just standing there not knowing what's happening. There's another guy standing over there who's just like is this supposed to be funny? Is this comedy?
Yeah, yeah. And there's another well, later on there's another episode um where I feel like the true of like doing this comedy in public
Mm-hmm.
where it kind of backfires on him.
Yeah,
It seemed pretty real. We can talk about that later, but yeah, I thought that was pretty funny because the guy's just he looks like he's a doorman or something. He's
yeah,
like, I don't know what you want me to do here.
yeah, exactly. That's um oh yeah, and then this is the one where that random, like, I don't know if he was drunk or something. Like the guy was like, "Oh, what's you guys' band's name?" Nirvana the band. Nirvana the
Oh yeah.
band. And it's like, "Hey, my friend says rock and roll." And he just holds up the thing, and you can't hear anything because it's a phone. And he's like, "You're in, dude." And they use that later to be like, "Oh, we're in." But yeah, that's kind of, I want to say, how that episode ends. I forget if this episode ends with the Mario Kart or not. This might be the one that ends with
I
the
think it
Mario Kart,
does.
where it's they're
I,
playing Mario Kart 64, and Jay's playing the music for the beach, or Cheap Beach, or whatever it's called, and Matt's playing, he's two goods, and he like backs up, and Jay's just like, you're that kid, stop doing that, just play the game. I'm not gonna play that music for you anymore. I want to hear that song. And so like he
yeah.
loses because he messes up. Um, but yeah, that was the second episode. Fairly good episode, I would say. I do agree that episode 2 has really high highs, I would say, in the sense of like references and things that it does. But episode 1, for now, if we were to rank these right now, episode 1's still the best. Going into
Yeah.
these.
But I feel like that's like any sitcom. You can't go through and be like, every single episode was great. It just doesn't. It doesn't. If it does, it's like a freaking unicorn. That doesn't happen, you know? So,
Yeah, definitely. Um that's weird. Okay. So the next episode is a parody of Home Alone. It's called The Bean. So they essentially just drink coffee for the first time to try to stay awake because they want to make a Christmas parade float of Nirvana the band, so they can, get a show at the Rivoli. That's what all these episodes are. And so um there's a lot to this episode, but I'll probably go kind of quick into this because at the same time, like, there is a lot to a lot of these episodes, but then when you really like boil it down, like, it's point A, point B, point C, done.
Yeah, yeah,
So like this episode, yeah, they're trying to make a yeah, float. They're gonna go grab the baby Jesus from like something from outside, and Matt accidentally scares Jay because he thinks he's the, what is it, the Queen Street Strangler or something like
yeah.
that. And so he's like, why is Jay running away from us? And you see it from like both perspectives of him, like in the truck. He's like, oh, I guess I'll follow him. Jay, why you running? And then Jay's just like running really weird. Like he's just running straight, no arms out or anything, just hands in pockets, just like this.
It literally looks like Kevin from Home Alone.
Yeah, exactly. Which is clearly like what they're trying to do. Because this is like a parody of that of sorts. Um, and they like, yeah, try to get attention. And um they stayed up all night for um the float and everything, and they get it all ready, but then they start just like passing out like when they're trying to like drive the actual float onto the thing. And because they can't get in, they're driving in the wrong like entrances and all that. And uh I mean, it cuts to like Jay falling asleep like at the piano. And the moral of the story is that coffee makes you sleepy. Like, is that's what they think.
Yeah.
um,
It was just funny because they were like, "This is my first cup of coffee. I've never had coffee before."
yeah.
Um, even like when they're doing the float and they had one of the parts moving, it is like the standee Michael Jordan from Home Alone.
Mhm.
You know, it's a great mixture of, and then they're playing the Home Alone music.
Yep.
Um, you know, and he talks about the baby Jesus thing. He even hides in a nativity scene
Mhm.
as Matt's driving this truck, like, where'd he go? What's he doing? Like, it was too funny. Uh, and then, of course, because they drank too much coffee, they slept through it. So, um, again, this episode's like 20, 22 minutes or whatever. How they got all that in that time frame is boggles the mind. That's a lot of stuff they got in that time frame.
Yeah, and then they do like a flashback about how like it's like, oh, we slept, we didn't do it, but it's okay because we were hanging out with the kids, you were playing music, we were doing this. They had the paper machete heads again, like they were like there was a lot of stuff. Oh yeah, because the float was what they wanted to be like Jack Nicholson Joker, right? They wanted to like throw money
Yeah,
everywhere. And so that's what
yeah,
that was. Um but yeah, they're like, "Oh, it's all right cuz we did have fun in the end, so it doesn't matter that we didn't get the show at the Rivoli and promote ourselves. Like we had fun with all the families and the kids and all of that." Um so this episode ends like after the credits and everything. This is like the segue into the next episode where he's like, hey, it's Christmas, I got you some gifts. Jay got Matt some gifts, and it's the original trilogy of Star Wars and on VHS. And he's like, oh, whoa, thanks. It's Star Wars, it's Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Because he doesn't know. He's never seen
yeah.
Star Wars. Like, well, you never seen Star Wars? I never had time. So Matt ends up watching a bunch of Star Wars on VHS in front of their CRT, very close to it, because they have tickets to episode 7, uh Force Awakens, because like it the time like when this episode and stuff came out, I don't remember exactly when Force Awakens came out, but it's probably roughly close to that time. So like yeah, they got a ticket for that, and that's what leads into the next show, the episode, The Blind Side, where it's a Daredevil parody, but then a lot of it's just um uh Matt blinded himself from watching too much TV, way too close to it, way too close to the television, so that he goes to the hospital. So he has temporary blindness, so he's wearing like eye patches and stuff, and so he won't be able to go see Star Wars. But he also ordered a Han Solo costume, and so Jay like tricks him into putting on like a pirate costume instead. and he wears the Han Solo thing, and so Jay's like acting all cool and getting pictures, and then Matt thinks he's getting pictures with people. Um, and like yeah, they filmed in a movie theater, and like there's a, I don't know if you can like find this or whatever. I don't know if this was in like the real news or something, but there's a part where they walk in front of like a news anchor or something, someone in Toronto, for this movie, and then they make a comment about like costumes or something like that. And so I'm not sure if like that was an actual like timed accident of like they were
It looked
actually in
real.
that shot, because like sometimes they do like green screens and stuff, but like for the person to actually make a comment, it made it seem real. Yeah. um and so yeah, since he can't see anything, since Matt can't see anything, Jay goes in there and he's just reading the whole episode to him. He's like, my friend is blind, he can't see, I already explained it to you. They all get kicked out of the theater um as they're walking out and everything. What is it, the person who works at the theater was like, did you get permission to film here? Like, you're not supposed to film in here. And then like Matt cuts her off. It's like, whoa, hold on a sec. To like Jay, you don't think I'm cool? Like, he just cuts off like the real person, like genuinely trying
Yeah.
to do their job, and he's just like, whoa, hang on. You don't think I'm cool? Um,
That was one of my like and you could tell that people were getting pissed in the theater.
yeah.
That was real.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I was in a movie, especially like a big when I know people have their thoughts on The Force Awakens, but when it came out, it was a big deal. It hadn't been like a big Star Wars movie in a very long time. And so people were like legitimately pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was like not only just reading the Star Wars theme as it comes out, but like telling him what's happening.
Yeah.
And they're both yelling, like, I'm blind, dude, I can't. And it was just like, oh my gosh, could you imagine if you're in that theater not knowing they're recording?
Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. Um, so since Matt's upset, he leaves even though he's blind, he can't see anything. Jay goes back, I forget if it's at their home or like in an alleyway or something. But the fans who were at the movie theater who got kicked out with them come back to try to beat up Jay. Matt shows up in a Daredevil costume and just fights
He
them.
does.
And then he gets hit by a car while trying to chase after the people. But like yeah, he beats them up. um there's a really funny scene in this where he's like there's like Mortal Kombat noises, like toasty and stuff like that. He does a laugh, and then he's just like, that's from King of Fighters. Just like there's so many like fighting game stuff in this. So like we were saying before,
Yeah,
like they're using actual audio.
that toasty is specifically for Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like them doing it. It's like literally it's when you did an uppercut.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I heard that and I'm like, okay, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Not don't even think of the fact that he is blind, so he dresses up like Daredevil to fight people.
Yeah.
And that fight scene was funny, but it kept going, and I'm like, oh my gosh, just gotta end the fight scene or whatever.
Yeah, but then he
But
gets
it
hit by a
was
car.
yeah,
So
then it gets back.
um so yeah, um what happens is Matt wakes up in the hospital. Jay's like, hey, you're in the hospital again. But then he pulls up a camera, and it shows that like one of their cameramen, like probably, I don't know, Rob or whoever, um filmed all of Force Awakens, and so he just starts describing it to him at the end of the episode. um so that's how that episode ends there. um and just it's funny, like you'll see later, like even in a couple episodes from now, or even season 2, they're always in this hospital and they're always in that hospital room. So just keep that in mind. So I wonder if they like have a deal with them or something to like film in that particular room. Um, the next episode was an episode that I thought you would really enjoy. Honestly, like when I was thinking about making us watch this, which is the big time, where Sundance is happening, and Matt is like, we need a film or something to put into um the Sundance, and we'll sneak it in. We'll sneak the film in and everything. And so like it's about like it's the movie that they showed is a worse version of The Dirties, which is a movie that Matt already made, like a real movie. But then they used the title Operation Avalanche, which is another movie that he was making at the time, which was at the Sundance Film. Um, and so they try to film at a school, and he's just like, oh man, Mr. Whatever isn't what he's cut out to be. Or he's like, oh, have you guys ever hung out with blah blah blah? He wants to play Secret Amano with me after school. I think I'm gonna do it. Like these kids have no idea, just because like
Yeah.
they don't know any of that stuff, first of all, and they're just like high
Until they got
schoolers.
caught. Until they
Yeah.
got caught. Like, do you go to school here? Did you get permission to film? And then they just took off running.
I was like, no, we're in a band. I was like, did you get this and this and that? And yeah, they run away. But they filmed enough of the film. Jay is upset that like the film essentially is just like makes him the bad guy and everything. And it's like, no, it's fine. I'll re-edit it. And so Matt's on the computer on their big old like iMac, like a huge fat iMac. He's like, "Oh man, I can't edit this. Um, we can't. It's impossible to make him into the hero or something." So then he just makes his own movie, and they sneak it into the Sundance Festival somehow. But this comes with like one of the best gifts, one of the best quotes. Um, in this whole series, which is like the sneak it around gets you nowhere. Like it's the most, I want to say one of the most quoted things from the show, just like the slow down um clip from that. But yeah, they sneak the movie into the Sundance. They somehow just like trick the person and be like, hey, instead of whatever you're playing, you're gonna be playing this DVD. It's like, oh, okay, like we don't have a setup for a DVD, but okay, sure, give me like 20 minutes and we'll do it. And so like yeah, they show the movie and it's like awful and everything, but they realize that people realize like, oh, this isn't the real movie and all of that. um Matt gets famous for sneaking in a movie into Sundance, and so there's a bunch of like other people around like trying to interview him and all this, and then finally it ends with like the movie actually coming to Sundance like itself, because like, oh, it's very impressive that you're able to sneak in a movie enough, so we're gonna actually show it. But yeah, Kevin Smith is in this episode, like actual
That
Kevin Smith.
I'm glad you brought that up. So this is my favorite episode of this season. And that is my favorite part of anything. Cause it was like I feel like they just found Kevin Smith on the street and they were like, yeah, I'm having a problem with my best friend Jay. And he goes, yeah, I have a friend named Jay and we've had some problems. And he goes in like this really like good explanation of like him and Jay and like their problems. And
Yeah.
he goes, you know what? It'll all work out. It always does. And but like that was like true Kevin Smith.
Mm-hmm.
The only other scene that made me like, oh, this is funny, is when Jay saw Matt at this bar and he tries again. He goes, my friend Matt's in there. My friend Matt in there. And the guy that's like running the bar goes, listen, dude, we've already told you we're at capacity. He's like, and he was like really getting pissed off.
Yeah.
Like I thought there was gonna be a fight.
Mm-hmm.
This guy comes out, he must have been like an owner or something. Was like, I think he was ready to fight.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, he goes, I'm really getting tired of your shit. Like it
Yeah.
was so funny. But this is my favorite episode. And when like I was watching it, you know, it shows Matt shaking hands with Emilio Estevez.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the Kevin Smith part was so genuine
Yeah.
and real Kevin Smith. I've seen Kevin Smith, like people that do videos when they meet him. That's really Kevin Smith.
Hmm.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
So the whole season, this was my favorite episode.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. I thought it would be just from a lot of the stuff that happened in this. But yeah, Matt's Jay's wandering the city. Matt's drinking for the very first time. He's like, "Oh, I've never had alcohol," and he gets wasted, like just in some snow. And Jay finds a passed out Matt just like in the snow on the street, and notices that Matt's phone is ringing about a premiere for Operation Avalanche, and he like looks at Matt and then looks back and everything. He's like, "This is Matt Johnson. I'll be right there." And he lies and just throws Jay back or throws Matt back on the snow and just runs really quickly. Pretends to be Matt for a while, and then Matt ends up getting there, and then he's just like, "I made this movie by myself. It was my own thing." And then he looks at Jay and remembers like the stuff that Kevin Smith told him. And he's like, "Oh no, I made this movie with my friend Jay. We're really good friends. This is both of our thing, and here I hope you enjoy it." And then everyone watches the movie and they all hate it. They all walk out. Um, and yeah, they just realize that um yeah, they just realize that it's just like everyone hates the movie, but it doesn't matter because
Yeah.
they made up the you know the friends. Every episode of this show for the most part is one of them gets upset with the other, but then at the end of the day the status quo goes back to normal and they're friends again. So um but that particular episode was Entourage, the opening and just some of the stuff there. um I forget if that might have been the one where it's like um uh where they do like the commercial cut, but they'll be like, "We'll be back right after this commercial," and then it does Jimmy Fallon, like Tonight Show with Jimmy
Oh
Fallon
yeah.
or something, and it like cuts to them like talking, but then it's all muted and it kind of like zooms back. um but yeah, it's definitely a very good episode. It might be one of my favorites, just because of how they used and made the Dirties like a worse movie. First of all, like just with the PNGs of like the guns flaring around and um killing Jay at the very beginning of the film. And it's like, I'm not even in the movie. But yeah, this episode's definitely one of the best. So yeah, if we're doing ranking right now, I would say yeah, episode 1 is still the best in my opinion, probably your opinion. I don't know, it just depends. But yeah, episode 1, then this one, then let's see, then the Bean, the Booking, and then the Blind Side. Like the Blind Side I think is probably the worst one so far, but it doesn't mean it's a bad one. I think all of them have a lot of good things to them.
Yeah.
So the next one is The Boy, which is my least favorite episode. This is one where they talk about Matt and Jay talk about Make a Wish, and they're like, "Oh, we'll just go to a hospital. We'll find a dying kid, a sick dying kid, and like become friends with them, and then they'll have to use their wish to make us have a show at the Rivoli." And so they find this kid named Mike in the hospital, and they take him to Canada's Wonderland. Um, but like during this episode, there's like a bunch of like flashbacks, like that, like look really like real of like Jay's uh childhood, but then there's also like glitches to the episode as well. The opening is Crank, like the movie Crank, so that's what all that stuff was at the beginning. The music and everything, and that song is the song that's used in Hey Ash, What You Playing? So I assume that's where you knew where that was from.
Yeah, as soon as I heard it, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's hey Ash, one of my favorite YouTube shows. It's
Yeah.
no longer in existence.
Right.
I used to love that show, and so yeah, and this I know we talked before. This wasn't like the best episode of all, but it was funny because he had those flashbacks because he kept going. Well, my mom says this. My mom says this. And then Matt was like, "Dude, shut up about your mom." Like, and that's when he started doing those major flashbacks of like, "Hey, maybe my mom wasn't right."
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly, which then made him overcome the whole thing and say like, "Oh, it's okay. Video game days and the Wonderland and all of this, it's all fine. Um, we'll be fine. Let's just have fun." And but like, yeah, they take this kid to Wonderland. Um, Jay overcomes his fears and everything. And then when they pick up this kid, like Matt looks at or Jay looks at the chart for the kid and is like, "Oh, there's something wrong with his ticker." Um, so when they are about to like go on to a roller coaster again or something, it says about like people with high blood pressure, like all these things about, and then it does the slow down flashback or like something wrong with his ticker. So like there's that. They eat a bunch of like sugary foods and things like that, and then the kid Mike just has a diabetic coma, and they just find him just on just the sidewalk or whatever in the Canada Wonderland, which is like I wonder how the other people like felt about just seeing just a kid just face first just on laying on the
Yeah.
ground
It, it
and
was
them
it was
carrying the
so
kid.
yeah. Because like as a parent, I'd have been like, "Oh, this is not good. We should probably call somebody."
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, they realize that like there's something wrong with them. There's like what we do? And so they carry the kid from with the arms and legs just and they just drop him off just right in front of the hospital and then just run away. And they they call the hospital again because they feel kind of guilty, and they find out they get connected to Mike, and Mike is just like, "Oh, hey." And so I guess he was okay. It's just that he had a diabetic like reaction and coma because of all the sugary foods that they ate. And the kid's just like, "Hey, I don't have a wish or anything, but if I did, I wish that you guys could play at the Rivoli." And it's like they're like heartwarmed and all of that, and then the kid's just like, can we still hang out? And the music plays and it's all nice, and Matt like whispers to Jay, is like, we gotta get out of here. And then they just run away from this kid and just never see him again.
Yeah.
um like this episode's good. This episode is the weakest. I think the kid actor is great. Don't get me wrong. He's a great kid actor because he is an actor, clearly. Like, this isn't just a random person that they found for this particular role. However, I think it ruins something with having someone extra in between Matt and Jay. And so you don't get the full Matt and Jay experience. So, like, the second to the last episode of season 2 has a similar thing where they have like a new guy in the episode. And so like, yeah, you haven't seen that yet, but like there's a thing where like they have a new guy, and so it just feels kind of weird and kind of off.
Yeah.
And so that's just how I felt this whole episode. It didn't feel like Nirvana the band, the show, to me. It felt like something kind of like it, but then because of all the other like special effects or like flashbacks and all these other things that they do, um it felt more produced. It felt more like a produced episode of television than Nirvana the band, the show. And that's not a bad thing. It just, yeah, it doesn't fit the show, in my opinion. How about you?
Yeah. I mean, I agree. It was definitely like off
Hmm.
an episode. Um, and I feel like sometimes it's like watching a newer show where you're like into the show and then they do a whole episode that's a flashback.
Yeah.
Or hey, this happened this time, or so It's not an awful episode, but it was not as good as the other ones so far.
Mm-hmm.
Still didn't deter me from finishing out the season, but
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I will say, you just reminded me. You talk about episode, just that's a flashback. You reminded me. We need to watch Clerks the animated series one of these days because episode 2 is just a flashback to the first episode, and then there's also good
yeah,
stuff about it.
yeah.
I love that show.
I have caught up on all the Kevin Smith films. I
Mhm,
watched Clerks 3, I think a while ago.
mhm. I still haven't,
Um,
but
and so like I'm all caught up, but with not to go off on a tangent, the rumors that he's doing a Mallrats 2
mhm.
and he's already wrote the script and it's being produced. Super excited. Uh, and I think we've ranked Kevin Smith films at one point, didn't we? I thought we did.
We
Did we
might
not?
have, or we might have talked about doing it. I don't know if we did or not. There's still a couple Kevin Smith movies I still haven't seen, at least in the View Skew universe. I don't know. Maybe we did at one point.
Maybe
But
we did.
I have Mallrats on 4K, so
Such a good movie.
yeah. So we'll talk about that some other day, maybe. Um, so the next episode is the buffet, where they go to a Mandarin restaurant for Canada Day, and Jay, there's a voiceover from Jay saying about a letter being like, Matt, I'm leaving the band. I don't enjoy it anymore, and I'm tired of all these schemes. We don't get anything. I'm just done. The opening sequence from this is from a movie called My Dinner with Andre, which I've never seen before, but the opening sequence is a shot for shot with it. So Wallace Shawn walking around is Jay, or Jay walking around is Wallace Shawn. There's a part, because I've seen shot side by side comparisons. There's a part where Jay goes into the subway and then he looks at like the rest of the subway, and then they use the shot from My Dinner with Andre. Like they use like that subway from it, so, and they like superimpose like the graffiti and stuff that's on that movie versus this episode. So it's one of those things where we were talking about like sophisticated comedy. There's a lot of references and just things that, like, this isn't a movie I've ever seen before, but even I knew like there's something to this. Like, this is clearly a reference.
Yeah.
This is clearly trying to do something specific, and sure enough, it was a shot for shot for something.
I
Um,
watched the movie years ago when I worked at Blockbuster.
mhm,
Um, so it is a very artsy movie. And now that you say that, it makes sense because I'm like, I know I've seen this somewhere.
mhm.
Um, Dinner with Andre is kind of boring. I will throw that out there.
Yeah,
Uh, but it's still a good classic movie back when independent films weren't a big thing like they are now.
yeah,
Um, I loved this because as they're walking the buffet, they're like, "Ooh, let's do this. I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna grab this, right?" Or
mhm,
like, there's a scene where Jay's like, ooh, look at this. That looks cute." And he's like, grabs like, because I'm just gonna grab one, and he's got a whole plate of desserts.
yeah,
Like, it was just kind of like, it's like when you do go to all you can eat buffet, and you're like, I'm just gonna do like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and
mhm,
you end up doing like tons of food, and then that's when you go home later and you feel like crap. Um, but like it was funny because he kept trying to read this letter the whole time to him, and as this kind of progresses, you see him change his mind about stuff.
mhm.
Um, but there's a flip side to it, and I'm sure you'll go into it. But I was not expecting that flip side either.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, this episode is, I mean, I guess you kind of described it in a way, and I guess I'll say it about the characters, because you're talking about like, oh yeah, he's just grabbing a bunch of food and everything. Um, they act like Tom Hanks in Big. They act like children in adult bodies,
Yeah,
and I think that's how a lot of the comedy works. I think it's a lot of how like how naive and like how certain jokes just land better because like they're not hateful, they're just ignorant. um there's yeah, certain things that just align to where it's just like, yeah, they're just big kids. Like that's just what they are. Um, but yeah, he's trying to read this letter saying like, oh, um, yeah, I want to read this letter to you. Oh, hang on. Oh, that's weird. They go to the buffet. Like it says best friend rice instead of best fried rice. Oh, that's interesting. Um, oh, this person took our photo with like a old timey camera and like says oh, we look like best friends or we look like good friends. That's weird. How would they know that? They have the thing. It's like, which one of these fish do you think think is us? You know what I think, and this might be stereotypical or something. I think we're those two white fish right there, the only two white fish.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like, um, or like, there's like an argument with like these other people, and just how everything just kind of happens to them to show like, oh, he's not going to read this letter. He doesn't have to. He realizes that like being with Matt is a good thing. um and so like the final like nail on the coffin, I want to say, was opening up the fortune cookie. And the fortune cookie um is a two-parter. So like Jay opens one and then Matt opens the other, and it says like with best friends like something something, like um you'll have a great time. I don't know, it's something generic but like also something specific for like their situation. And so like now he doesn't like want to like read that letter or anything. And you find out like what happened. Like they yeah, they leave. They um or Jay says like, "Oh, I was going to read you this letter. I was going to leave the band or something, but it's fine." And then they hug it out. They watch fireworks, and then you see like a flashback of everything that Matt did to sabotage this whole thing, like in this one like probably 10 minutes that like apparently probably took hours for Matt to actually do, of like changing the thing to say best friend rice, giving the old camera to a person saying like take our pictures, um giving information, giving like a picture that's like doctored uh of like some random guy with like a bunch of women, and like he like puts his face on it and then like puts it in a manila envelope and tells the waitress like, hey, give this to this table. And like the wife opens it up and sees it, and then that's why there's an argument. um and then he like runs to like another place to like get ask if he can make his own fortune cookies, and that's how he makes the fortune cookie. Like there's so many things. The comedy of it
Yeah,
is like there's so many things that he did in like these 10 minutes that like there's no way that he could have done that in all that time.
and that's what I loved because like he reads the letter, he's like, "Oh no, I gotta fix this,"
Yeah.
you know. And so I think this kind of goes for like that great comedy duo
Hmm.
um, there. Uh, and as we go into the next one, I think the next one's pretty funny too. But
Yeah.
this one had more of like thoughtfulness and like sophisticated comedy, more
Hmm.
so than the other ones. But it was still a good episode.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's up there for me. I don't know where exactly it's up there yet, but we can rank them here right after we're done with the last one. The last one kind of gives that vibe of The Boy a little bit. This one's called The Bank, where it feels like it is more production, more scripted. There's clearly more actors and stuff put into this. Like there's no way that this was all just random people.
Right.
But the through line from like the beginning, like they got all those VHS tapes and everything. They go to the library, and they're trying to 3D print a gun so they can threaten the Rivoli. And like,
Yeah, that was pretty funny
yeah,
because they were trying to 3D print it and they were asking a guy, and the guy's like, "You want to print a gun? Yeah, it's not real." And then the guy's like, "We can't do that. There's no way this is okay."
yeah,
And so the scene where it shows him like, God, here I have printing. I it was just so funny because I'm like, there's no way they got printed in that time.
Yeah.
But yeah. And my favorite line was like when we get there and we're negotiating, I just want to hold the gum up and say, John Cena,
Yeah.
and then play the music or whatever. Uh, that's where I had to laugh. I
Yeah.
thought this was going to end on a cliffhanger
Hmm.
for the next season, but then it didn't. And I was like, I actually like that better.
Yeah. Yeah. This episode definitely ended. It started and ended very, very well. Yeah, I do like that because it's like, yeah, we'll go out and say, and it's John, and his name is John Cena, and Jay's like, you can't do that. No one knows. No one knows who he is. Like you don't know who he is. And like, granted, like 2017, like John Cena is fairly popular, but like he isn't like an actor yet. So, like he isn't super super well known. He is and he isn't.
I thought that joke was because John Cena's line was like, "You can't see me,"
Yeah, that too for
because
sure.
because he has a new movie out. He was in an interview, and they're like, "How often do people come up and be like, 'Oh, I can't see John Cena. Where are you at?'" He goes, "Every day of my life."
Yeah.
Or people are like, "Oh, were you in that new movie? I didn't see you."
Hmm.
And he's like, "And it's just the way it is, you
Yep.
know?" But yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like when he was making that joke, that joke was way ahead of like people making jokes with John Cena now.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it was pretty funny where he's like, "Because you can't do that, you know.
Hmm.
First off, you can't wave a gun around."
No.
But it was just funny.
Yeah. This episode's opening title and things was from the movie called Dog Day Afternoon, which is an Al Pacino film.
Oh,
Um,
great film.
yeah. So, they talk about this in other interviews and stuff here really quick, but like there's certain things that they do in the show where if they did this in the states, they're concerned for their life. They're like, you can't do this in the states. People will be upset. Someone
No,
would try to be a hero and like shoot them or something. Like even in like just some of this stuff that they do, like any of these episodes, they're like, this is strictly like a thing that like would only work in Canada. um
absolutely.
yeah, so yeah, they're trying to get the gun like 3D printed. They print the gun, but then they're like, oh, we should return the tapes and everything. And they realize that there's overdue like fees and everything. It's like $1 a day and they're super late. I think they owe like $20 or something, I forget what it is. And um Matt's just like, oh, we'll just take the tapes with us, like we'll take them. It's fine. And then we'll just come back when we have the money. And uh she's like, no, you should really just return the tapes. And it's like, no, she wants the tape. She wants us to do it. See, we're not gonna listen to her. She's like, no, it's in your best interest that you need to return the tapes right now. Otherwise you're gonna keep accruing things. And Jay is just like, oh, we'll be back. We'll go to the bank or something. We'll be back. And they go to the bank and they're like, how long is this going to take? Uh because I need to go to the bathroom. They're like, oh, go to the bathroom at the library again when we get back. No, I gotta go now. So they go to the bathroom and the bank. And then as they're walking up the stairs, they see that the bank's being robbed by three people. And they like walk back and they're just like, oh no, this bank is being robbed, what do we do? And Matt gets this crazy idea like, oh, I know what we're gonna do. I'm gonna intimidate them. I'm gonna grab the 3D printed gun and run out there. Like, no, don't do it. And he runs out there and just yells, and his name is John Cena. And then somehow magically all the robbers shot themselves, so all the robbers are dead. And they're just waiting. All of the hostages are there with the bags on their heads and everything, and then they see that the police are here and they don't know like what to do. um and they get a phone call, and they end up saying like, oh, we're gonna negotiate, like we're gonna try to, like, this is how we'll do it. We'll get a show at the Rivoli, we'll pretend to be the robbers, and we'll do a negotiation and say like we want our favorite band to play at the Rivoli. And they like call, the person calls Um, and they like make their first demands and all that. And the first demand I want to say was asking for John Cena to show up and like do a meet and greet and be nice. And he's like, I want him smiling and I want that. And the police officer is just like, I don't know who that is. Like, I don't know who this John Cena guy is. I don't think we can do that. Um, but so like it just escalates and escalates, and um they have like hostages. They mime like a hostage with one of the shooters. They um throw one of them from the top of the building, one of the dead bodies. uh Matt just shoots one of the other dead bodies. um and it's just crazy, and they're trying to figure out like, oh, how do we negotiate? Oh, I know how. We have the movie The Negotiator. We'll watch that. They have to have a VHS and VCR and TV here somewhere, so they're just like watching The Negotiator, um trying to come up with ideas and things, and trying to get demands. And then finally they like try to get the demand like, hey, we want Nirvana the band to play at the Rivoli. It's like, okay, we'll do it. We'll get Nirvana the band to play at the Rivoli. Oh, awesome, cool, we're done. Well, where all the hostages go? And like it turns out, like it makes it look like Jay's like, I'm done with all this, and he shoots the gun. You see a body like get hit, and it falls down, and you see like Jay sneak in and like put the sack over his head and to be carried out to pretend he was a hostage. um all the hostages are carried out. There's one person with like a blanket over his head, and they walk out, and Matt takes the blanket off, and it's just him in like a tank top and his hat, and then the John Cena music plays, and it's just like a clip show of John Cena. Um like, yeah, it was very surprising like watching this for the first time, being like, oh wow, Jay shot Matt. But no, they show like, oh, it's actually like a double, because they were three bodies, so they could shoot
Yeah.
the body, throw it over, sneak around, and all of that. There are some other comments that really got me here. Like there's a comment where he takes the masks off of two of the robbers. He's like, "Oh no, man, they're both black. I don't know how I feel about that." And then they take off the other mask, and it's like, oh, "Okay, good, it's a white guy." Okay, it's like a
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
mixed bunch of guys. They're all friends or something like that. But then like there's just quite a lot of just things that they say in here. Like again, like they're funny jokes. Uh they're I don't know how to say it. Like I feel like they're funny jokes. They're jokes that, not everyone would necessarily enjoy. They're a little too vulgar or whatever. But at the same time, the way that they approach all these things with innocence is that's what sells it. It's not like someone blatantly being racist. It's him just making
Yeah.
a comment. And I think that's how this really works. By any of the things that they've said like throughout these episodes, and episodes continue. Like none of them act malicious, and so because of that, you give them, big kid body like benefit of the doubt for this
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think about this episode?
It was pretty good. The John Cena stuff was hilarious. Um, again, it's just short enough to get the gist and get the jokes, and it's still funny.
Mhm.
And after watching the movie, now some of the stuff that they did and said makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
You know, if it's not, and I'll go for like all the episodes at this point, whether it's the movie references, watching the movies, the sound effects from movies and video games,
Yeah.
it all makes like perfect sense. Because even in a couple of these episodes, they did that like little sound from Back to the Future.
Yeah.
So um, I'm excited to see season two. Like
Mhm.
I don't have a huge. This is the first weekend in a while. I don't have a ton of plans.
Yeah.
My plan is to watch season two. and then watch it again the weekend before we record.
Yeah.
Um, I'm excited to see where they go with season two.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
After watching this, I do want to watch the movie again, but I want to watch season one and two,
mhm.
then go to the movie.
I will say that upon rewatching this, I rediscovered certain things. Not reshots or anything or reshoots, but there's certain things like in the show that they do that they then redo in the movie. So there's certain music that they use for um like in the show, I think in the banner when like they have the heads on and all that, there's a certain song playing, and in the movie they reuse that song for another montage of doing things, which is like when they have the cable up and they're like walking around with the cable, and then Jay's song Never Come Down, the original version of it, which is like something that he did with like his sister, like that plays for a little bit, and I forgot that that song existed before Nirvana the band the show the movie. And so just hearing it, I was like, wait, did they edit this? And then I had to like go back and watch my other copy, and like, oh no, they didn't. It's just that this song is old. I just forgot about that.
Yeah,
But yeah, this show is excellent. I love this show. I'm very happy that other people can watch this show. We'll see how it continues and how they can do more things. Matt and Jay have a new movie coming out here in August 7th, um, which is Tony, the Anthony Bourdain biopic. So that is happening soonish, and yeah, Matt Johnson plays a character in that as well. So I'm curious how that's gonna go. I'll probably try to see that in theaters if it's around here, just because I feel like Matt Johnson is a very good director and writer. Because I like Blackberry, I like The Dirties. I haven't seen Operation Avalanche, but I like Nirvana the band, the show, the movie. Um, y- you're gonna notice, and for a little bit of like teasers, I guess I'll say, for season two. Season two seems like it has more budget, so I will say that. Um, episode two is one of my favorites from season two, and they are in a place that you have seen in Nintendo Quest and N64 Quest. So like
oh
there
nice.
is a store that that one of the episodes takes place in. So it was pretty interesting to see, like, oh wait, oh yeah, it's that store. Because the way watch stuff in reverse, I watched this show first, and then when I watched Nintendo Quest and 64 Quest, it's like, wait, is this the place from Nirvana the band the show? Um, but yeah, I think you're going to really enjoy these next few episodes. The last episode does a lot of borrowing from movies and recreations of things, like so much so like it looks like it costs a bunch to do. But season one is really good for rewatchability. Season two has some of those, but I also feel like season two has more depth, and because of that, it doesn't have a whole lot of rewatchability. Um, so I'm curious to see what you'll think of season two, but it does pick up, and it feels like they're trying to, like, you know, make a movie at that time, just the way that everything works and how the graphics and like special effects and all that stuff are. Um, but yeah, so yeah, you like the show and you want to watch more and you want a season three.
Yeah, I think a season three would definitely be great. I know they're off doing other things, but thoroughly impressed. And this is from 2017.
Yeah.
So, uh, and it's okay because I watch older things all the time.
Mhm.
Um, I just, I think I got like one more season left of Tales from the Crypt from like, gosh, early 90s, I want to say.
Mhm.
So I love this. I'm gonna watch more of it. I'm going to watch the second season, then I'm gonna watch the movie again and have more laughs. So but anyone that has listened, I will say, if you have children, don't watch it around the children. You really don't really know what's gonna happen. So
Yeah, I would
uh
say especially the first episode. The other episodes are probably safe to watch around children, but the first episode and I don't know, the bean has something, and there might be one more episode, but like there is, yeah, some nudity. But otherwise, you can probably get away with watching some of the others.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it was just that one episode,
Mhm.
but there's language and stuff, which isn't awful, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, this has been another episode of the Get At Gaming podcast. You can find us bi-weekly on audio services as well as on YouTube. Audio is on Wednesdays and the videos are on Fridays. Catch us when you catch us. Next time we will be talking about season 2. Just because we just want to get this over with because this just came out. So I want to get everyone watching this as quick as possible. I don't really have anything else to say. You can find us on everywhere. But do you have anything else to say, Ben?
Just to get at it.
Get at it.